Today, the homework review will not be difficult because they are not over-focusing. When the students are over-focusing, that is difficult. Lately, those people who have learned for many years, they have joined the course, and Luangpu told them that you have practiced for a long time. You have to at least do every day, practice formally 3 hours a day, every day. Some brought that to their heart and they start doing 3 hours every day. They thought it would be difficult at first. Well, it is actually difficult. Many Luangpu saw and they submitted homework after they practice seriously. They put their time into it, at least 3 hours every day. They have improved. Otherwise, they would stay still at the same place. They don't progress because they only practice a little bit every day. So you have to be determined. You have to be strong. Take this seriously. Because if you don't practice enough, you will not gain anything. You will not progress. So be determined. Practice formally every day. And then you will see it for yourself that the mind is less attached to the world. The mind is more free. The mind feels more free, and you will attain more happiness. You will see that for yourself. There's nothing you will gain from being lost in the world. Your mind will lose strength. So when you determine, set your mind to it. So many people said that after they practice seriously, after work, they head right back home because they want to make sure that they do 3 hours. One confessed to Luangpu that I hurry home to practice 3 hours, then I thought that maybe I can go out afterward. But that person ended up that, after 3 hours, then it's too late. But if you go out at night, usually when you go out at night, that is not wholesome. There's too many dangers at night. It is safer to be home at night. Your mind is more calm. Your life is happier. You will have less suffering, or at least when you feel suffer, it is shorter. So to practice formally, Luangpu have taught this for more than 10 years. That is 2 words that Luangpu usually taught, is not to let the mind wander off and not to overfocus. If you have learned with Luangpu for more than 10 years, then you will hear these 2 words often, 2 phrases often, that not let your mind wander off and not let your mind overfocusing. For example, when you do the formal practice and you use your breath, no so when you breathe in, no so when you breathe out. No so of the body breathing, no so of the body breathing out. At first, when you intentional to practice, then you usually you tend to overfocus when you practice. Or if you do the walking meditation, you have a lot of intention, then you would over-focus on your body, on your feet. This is fabricating good deeds. Over-focusing is actually not a bad thing, but we don't want just good deed. We want something beyond good. Nibbana is beyond good or bad. But at first, you can start with doing good deeds. So at first, when you start to practice, you don't want the mind to wander. So you over-focused on your body, on the object of meditation. So some even hurt themselves. They have backache. They have aching all over their body. That is over-focusing. Everybody over-focus, whether or not it's more or less. It depends on your wanting, that how much wanting you want to practice. If you have a lot of wanting, then you will be more over-focused. Like you don't want the mind to ever wander away, that wander off. So you kept the mind to yourself and you over-focused it. And when you over-focus for a long time, then you will feel tired, and some of you might give up practicing altogether. But if you have commitment that you are committed to do 3 hours every day, doesn't matter how tired you are, you would not give up. Even though your mind feel exhausted, but you will not give up. And then if you keep doing that, your mind will gain strength. And then the more that you are skilled at practicing, and then you will see that over-focusing, because you have greed, you have wanting, you want to see progress. This is why you over-focused. What do you gain from being over-focused is that you are fabricating the existence of a practitioner. This is not a bad thing. So if you are over-focused, that is not doing bad deeds. That is good deed, but there is something beyond good deeds, better than the good deeds. So when you practice without burden. See the wanting to practice. When you see the wanting, then the wanting would dissipate. And then your mind will have equanimity, and then you keep practicing, keep learning, keep noticing. After that, you practice every day, and then you are used to doing the formal practice every day. Now you have a habit of practicing every day. At first, when you started to practice formally, the mind is usually busy. The mind usually wants to wander away. That is too loose. But if you over-focus, that is too tight. But if you let the mind wander off, that is too loose. Those are the two mistakes that practitioners make, either too loose or too tight. This is why we never are in the middle path. But if we are not in the middle path, then we are not on the path toward enlightenment. So if you have wanting, want to be free from the world, want to see progress, that is okay. Be persistent, be patient, and keep on practicing, and then you can notice this over-focusing. Sometimes you over-focus more, sometimes you over-focus less. Notice that, know that. See your greed, that you want to practice. Every time you have greed, you are not calm, you are not peaceful, and you are creating a burden to yourself. It's like you're putting a rock on the grass. The grass would not grow because there's a rock on top of it. But if you lift off the rock, then the grass would grow. The grass is like the defilement that it's actually not going away. So when you overfocus the defilement, you cannot be free from the defilement from doing that. One day, there was a grandmother who came to visit Luangpu when Luangpu was in Kanchanaburi province. When she heard Luangpu, listened to Luangpu from Luangpu's CD back then, she said that now she knew that she overfocused for many, many years. Every time she exits out from samadhi, her mind becomes very restless. And Luangpa looked at her and Luangpa said, oh, this is difficult to fix because she had been overfocusing for more than 60 years. If Luangpa helped her to be free from overfocusing, then it will swing strongly to the other side, that the mind will be very, very busy, very, very restless. So if you overfocus a lot, your defilement will be very strong. So Luangpa told his grandmother that you don't have enough time to fix this. If you are younger, then there may be a chance. Because if you overfocus for many, many years, it's like a rock on top of the grass. If you lift out that rock, then the mind will be very, very busy. It takes time for a mind to correct itself. So Luangpa recommended her, this grandmother, that from now on, don't let the mind disappear. Don't let the body disappear when she practices. Doesn't matter how calm, how peaceful the mind is, don't let the body disappear. Because if she passed away with the mind, without the body, then she would be stuck in the Brahman realm for a very long time, and she might miss the opportunity to meet the next Buddha, because she will stay in that realm for too long. So if she passed away and she stayed in the realm with the body and with the mind, when she will know when the next Buddha comes to earth. Because when the Buddha exists in the world, all the angels, all the Brahms would know. They would tell each other, and they would come down to earth to learn Dhamma with the Buddha. So Luangpa told his grandmother that that she could not be fixed of her overfocusing then, because she did not have enough time. But those here, you are not that overfocusing. It is okay. So when you practice, don't overfocus too much. If the mind wander away, don't worry. Just come back to the object of meditation. No, so when the mind is busy, no, so when the mind is attached to the object of meditation. So when you practice formally, doesn't matter if you want to sit or walk. When the mind wander off from the object of meditation, no, so have sati, be mindful. When you practice, see the body that is walking, see the body that is breathing. No, so when the mind wander off from the body, and then start over and start practicing again. No, so when the mind is busy, you don't have to try to stop the mind from wandering off or try to stop the mind from being busy. Don't try to control the mind. At first, you may feel struggle when you practice, and then after you keep going, your mind will be more relaxed on its own. So every day after you go to work, when you finish work, go home and practice. When you have a habit of that, the mind have a habit of that, then you will practice yourself without having to force yourself too much. And if you keep going at this, no, so when the mind wander off, you don't have to try to stop the mind from wander off. It is okay if the mind is busy when the mind wander off. You don't have to fix it. Just know that. And also know when the mind moved to cling to the object of meditation. You don't have to force the mind to cling to the object of meditation. Just know so that the mind is clinging, attaching to the object of meditation. Know so when the mind moves. When the mind is attached to the object of meditation, that is when you over-focused. And you might feel tired, you might feel the weight in your heart. And also know so when the mind wander off from the object of meditation. Know so when the mind is attaching to the object of meditation. Every time you know so, sati would arise. So when we practice, our objective, our goal is not to be calm. We practice so sati would arise. Know so when the mind wander off. Know so when the mind moves toward the object of meditation. Know so when the mind moves. Know so of the mind that moves back and forth. You don't have to try to force the mind to move a certain way or to stay still. Every time you try to control the mind will be tight. The mind doesn't like to be controlled. Just know so when the mind moves. Know so when the mind is busy. Know so when the mind is over-focusing. The mind that moves is the mind that is with delusion. It is called utthaja in Thai. Know every time you know so that the mind is busy, the mind that is busy would dissipate, and the mind that is a stable observer would arise. If you overfocus, the mind will get tired. When the mind is busy, the mind is also tired. So every time when we know so that the mind is busy, when we know so that the mind is overfocusing, the mind will be a stable observer by itself. When the mind is not lost, the mind is not overfocusing, the mind did not have to use a lot of energy. It only uses the energy to know so of what's happening, know so of the state that is happening. Every time the mind moves toward different sensory contacts like the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, the mind would spend energy. The mind would be tired. So the mind that is stable, then the mind will have strength. Like this student in the front, the mind has strength. Why do we have to train ourselves for the mind to have strength? Because the mind that has strength, it can be continued to cultivate wisdom, to cultivate insight. If the mind is busy, it will not have enough energy. If you use thought, you think about Dhamma, that is not true Dhamma. That is not true insight. That is samatha.
สิ่งที่เรียกว่าสภาวะธรรมก็คือรูปธรรมนามธรรมทั้งหลายนั่นแหละถ้าเราเห็นรูปธรรมนามธรรมเป็นไตรลักษณ์แล้วเราขึ้นวิปัสสนาแล้ว
When you cultivate insight, when you cultivate vipassana, you will see the three characteristics that come with all things, that it is non-self, impermanent, and suffering. When you see that enough, then the mind would be wise and it would let go of all things and it will be liberated. The weak point of the lay persons is that they do not have enough samadhi. You don't have enough samadhi because first, those do not practice correctly. The second is that you don't practice enough. When you don't practice correctly, then you may have the wrong view. You may think that the mind is under your control, that you can control your mind. That is very dangerous because one would have even more of the wrong view. So practice, like Luangpo said, know so when the mind moves. When your mind wander off, know so like when you hear the gecko cries and your mind goes toward the gecko, know so. Or if the mind moves toward the object of meditation, like Luangpo used the breath as an object of meditation, when the mind moves toward the breath, he knew so. Then when you know so, the mind that is stable would arise. Like if you use hand gesture to moving hand gesture to practice, know so when the mind moves toward the hands, then the mind that is stable would arise. There's no one object that is better than another. You have to pick the object that is suitable to you. Stay with it. 3 hours every day is not torturing yourself for 3 hours. It is the time that you know so of yourself. Know so when the mind wander off. Know so when the mind over-focusing for 3 hours. Like when Luangpo practiced, he knows so when his mind was busy. Know so when the mind is moving toward the light. Every time you know so, sati would arise. Sati is when the mind is stable. The wisdom is the thing that would wash away, cleanse away the defilement. So when you are lost in thought, know so that you are lost in thought. It's not about knowing what you are thinking about, but know so that the mind has been lost in thought. If you want to know so what you are thinking about, it is okay. Don't condemn yourself about that. All the people in the world, they know what they are thinking about. Even dogs, animals, they know what they are thinking about. But when you practice, if you know so that the mind is lost in thought, this is very important. It is more important to know so that the mind is lost in thought. It is more important than knowing what you are thinking about. So every time you know so that the mind is lost in thought, the sati would arise. And also, if the mind moves toward the object of meditation, is attached, and when you know so, and the mind is still attached to object of meditation, you can keep knowing so. And then the mind that is upright, the mind that is stable would arise. There is a Chinese student here who practiced for many years. His or her mind is very stable. It's beautiful. When the mind is stable, it doesn't mean that the mind is peaceful or calm. That is not correct. So that's why a lot of people, when they practice, they aim that they want to get calm. They want to be calm when they practice, but that's not correct. To practice is to know so. When the mind wander off, when the mind is over focusing. So when you know so, sati would arise and the correct samadhi would arise. You keep practice like this, then the mind that is a stable observer would arise and it will be prominent. When you have that, this type of mind, you can use that to cultivate wisdom, to cultivate the insight. When a lot of people ask, Luangpo, have I cultivate wisdom yet? It is difficult for Luangpo to say, for them to get, not to feel down, because it's not a true insight, cultivating insight, because you can only cultivate the insight when you have the mind that is a stable observer and the correct samadhi. When the mind is a stable observer, every time when there's changes in the body and the mind would know so with equanimity. When the mind that is with equanimity and stable observer, it will know so when the mind moves. It would know so when the mind is busy, when the mind is with any defilement. It will know so of that. And all the defilement, all the unwholesome would dissipate. When you first practicing, maybe if you practice for 7 continuously, you will have only one moment of the mind that is a stable observer after you practice continuously for 7 days. Luangpo have been practicing like this. The first time Luangpo saw that his mind was stable when he was 10 years old. When his mind was a stable observer, he saw the defilement that is arising and falling. That is not his mind. That is just something that arising and falling. He got this mind that is a stable observer because he had been doing correct samadhi. But people in this generation, we don't have a lot of samadhi. Our mind is busy all the time. When you doing the walking meditation and you hear the sound that you have a message on your mobile phone, you would stop from the walking meditation and looking at the mobile phone and see the message. Oh, now I have to answer the message. And then you have to start over again. It would take a long time for the mind to be calm, the mind to be peaceful. So in this generation, people do not have a lot of samadhi because the mind is always busy. So every day, if you do the formal practice for 3 hours every day, you can divide it into sections. Like in the morning, you can do it for 1 hour, and throughout the day, you can do it. Divided your time during the day to do the formal practice, and at night you will do it for another 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. Keep accumulating it until you practice 3 hours every day. You can do that. If you keep practice like that, know so when the mind wander off from the object of meditation, know so when the mind cling to the object of meditation, then you will have the mind that is a stable observer. If you keep having this type of mind often, it will feel that you will have this mind that is a stable observer all day long. But if you over focusing and you try to create, fabricate the mind that is a stable observer that is not correct. So keep having sati, know so of the states of the mind, know so of the minds, then the correct samadhi would arise. Luangpo used to talk about observing the mind. At first, when you observe the mind, you will gain, if you keep observing the mind, you will attain the mind that is a stable observer. That is samatha practice. So you can observe the mind. So the mind, you can attain the mind that is a stable observer, see the mind works. And then you will see the three characteristics of the mind. For example, you can see that, you might see that the mind sometimes is happy. It's only happy for a moment and it will dissipate. And then the mind that is suffer arise. And then the mind that suffers would dissipate. And then you might see different defilement that arise and falls. Like you might see the mind that is with greed, with anger, with delusion, they arise and fall. Everything that comes to the mind arise and fall. If you can see that, the correct samadhi, you can attain correct samadhi. And if you practice like this, you have a habit, you have a skill like this. After you have the correct samadhi, this skill will be very useful when you cultivate insight or vipassana. If you cannot observe the mind, observe the body. If you observe the mind, and you can see, if you see that the mind that is with anger, the anger is not the mind itself. The anger is something that the mind goes to know it. So when the unwholesomeness arises, the mind knows so of the unwholesomeness. So you will see that happiness, unhappiness, wholesomeness, unwholesomeness is not the same thing as the mind. So the mind separates itself from the fabrication. So the mind is consciousness. You may see this as a different aggregate. And then you will see that this consciousness moves toward different contexts, like it moves to the eyes, to the ears, to the nose, to the tongue. And you will see that the mind always moves. And then later you will see that the mind that is always moved is a burden and it's not yours to be commanded. And then one day you will, and then the one will become dispassionate and it can let go of the mind. It can let go of the five aggregates. When you first start to practice, one may see that the mind and the body are two separate things. And you may see that the body is something that is just a thing, that is just element. The elements belongs to the world. It's not the mind itself. And then after you keep practicing, you will see that the feeling, the fabrication, happiness, unhappiness is not the mind. It's just something that the mind knows of. And then if you keep practice, you will see that unwholesomeness, wholesomeness, they are not the mind either. It's just something that the mind knows of. You're starting to separate the aggregates until you separate it, until you see that the mind is consciousness. The mind or the consciousness is the same thing, but they are called differently because we call it differently because of the function. Sometimes we call the mind the heart. In Thai is called Mano. Sometimes, but the Thai people use it very differently. Sometimes the good words Thai people use until it feels like it's not a good word, like uncle and aunt. Before in the past, those are good words, but now when people are called uncle and aunt, they felt insult that you're calling them old. Now Luang Po is talking about the lesson in the past that is not taught now these days. So if you have learned this lesson called Mani Mana before, you are old. But Luang Po learned something even before Mani Mana. So if you can separate the 5 aggregates and you see the consciousness, this consciousness, sometimes it arises at the eyes. It's called Jattu Vinyan Jit, that's in Thai. Or it moves to the ear, it arises at the ears, that it perceives sound. Or it arises at the nose, it perceives smell. Or it arises at the mind, it perceives different feeling and fabrication. So the consciousness arises at different contexts, like the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So keep practicing no so when the mind moves, no so when the mind wander off, no so when the mind over focusing on the object of meditation. Every time we know so that the mind wander off the thing, the mind that wander off the thing dissipates, and the mind that is a stable observer would arise. When you know so that the mind is lost in the ears, trying to hear something, when you know so of that, listening to something, know so of that, then the mind that is stable would arise. The mind that was listening would dissipate. When you have that, when the mind that is stable observer, if you keep practice like that, the mind will be more prominent, the mind will have strength. It is delightful. The mind that is a stable observer is the mind that is with sati. It is delightful, gentle, agile, and ready to work. It is awakened, and it will not interfere with what's happening with the body and the mind. If you have this high quality of mind, you can use this high quality of mind can cultivate wisdom. If you have that, it will not take too long for you to cultivate wisdom. But if you don't have the correct mind, it will take 10 years, 20 years, or forever, and you cannot cultivate the wisdom. So every day, Luang Po told you to practice formally for 3 hours every day, so we can attain this high quality of mind, the mind that is a stable observer. Just know so when the mind wander off, know so when the mind over focusing. We over focused because we have greed, we have wanting to practice. At first, it still might feel tight when you know so that you are over focusing. Don't worry about it. The tightness will dissipate eventually. So keep knowing so like that. You will see that wholesomeness, unwholesomeness, they are not the mind. The consciousness that arises at the mind, it arises for a moment and then it dissipates. The mind that arises at the ears, nose, tongue, to perceive, they arise for a moment and then falls. The mind would run away to think, the mind would run away to look, the mind would run away to hear. You cannot control them. You may see that in a non-self. And if you keep observing and observing, you will see that all the minds are suffering, that they are always oppressed to change. Like even the noble mind, it is oppressed to change, to be the mind that is lost. So you will see that all mind is impermanent, suffering because it is oppressed to change, and it is non-self. They are not under your control. If you can see that, that is the understanding, that is the right view of Sodabana, or the stream enter. So let's go do it. Do what? Practice formally every day for 3 hours. Everyone who have doing that, they look so much better. One of Luangpa's niece and nephew, actually it's Kunme, the nun's niece and nephew. Luangpa took him or her to see the great master, who is a great practitioner. He said to her that, don't think that you are better than other people. You are more beautiful than other people. Don't have so much ego. Years after that, 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, I think, Luangpa think, the niece has been practicing. And then this morning, when Luangpa saw her, Luangpa Anumotana, means Luangpa rejoiced of her progress. Her mind is a stable observer. The mind is awakened. Next step is for her to cultivate wisdom. So Luangpa is happy to see her progress. So if you put your mind into it, it will not take too long for you to see progress. Keep knowing so of your mind, of your body and your mind. And then you will have the mind that is a stable observer. They will have the mind that is with right samadhi, and you can cultivate wisdom after that. If you are old and you cannot walk for 3 hours, you can use other object of meditation, like moving. For example, notice of when the body is moving. Or you can do the house chore and notice when the mind is moving. But this one is not as good as the formal practice. The formal practice, you can see that your strength, the mind strength, will develop. You don't have enough faculties. You cannot cultivate wisdom. The people who were born in the Buddha time, they have collected a lot of faculties. That's why they hear a Dhamma talk from the Buddha, they would enlighten. We don't have enough supply. We don't have enough faculty, so we have to accumulate ourselves. So be strong. It's like we are poor, we have to work hard. And then one day, we will be okay. Homework will be Vương Thám. Number 1. When I practice, every time I start to practice, and when my mind have enough strength, I contemplate on the 3 characteristics, and my mind is saddened. And I can see that there is another mind that want to go back to the object of meditation. I think I need to train myself so I have more sati during the day. Please tell me what to do next. Luangpa replied that you still have the wrong samadhi because you are over-focusing. This is not correct. no so that you want to be good, you want to practice, so you are controlling your mind. The mind is still.
งั้นเวลาสภาวะอะไรเกิด
So
มีตัวหนึ่งจ้องเอาเป็นเอาตายอยู่
when there is something happening, that is the mind that is trying to see this is correct. So focus on that. You have a strong determination. This is good.
แต่ว่าต้องสมาธิต้องให้ถูกนะ
But you have to have the correct samadhi because you are too stressed. Can you tell that you feel stressed when you practice?
ต้องธรรมดานะธรรมดา
Too tight. Use the mind that is ordinary, that is natural. Stick your tongue out. Make yourself look like a girl. Stick your tongue out. Make your eyes widen.
คือจิตที่ดีนะตรงนี้
Good. That's the mind that is correct.
อย่าไปทำลายตัวนี้มันด้วยการไปนั่งเพ่งซึม
Don't destroy this type of mind by controlling yourself.
คราวนี้เราเริ่มโลภแล้ว
Now you have greed that
บอกดีนั่งโปนอย่างนี้ทั้งวันไม่ดีแล้วอันนั้นโลภแล้ว
now you have greed that Luangpu said that your mind was correct when you're sticking your tongue out and you widen your eyes. So now you kept your eye widen. That is just a trick to see. So correct this. Notice your mind that you are too serious when you practice because you want to be good. You want to practice. No so of that. Keep knowing so of that. No so of the wanting. When the wanting dissipates, then the mind is with equanimity and you will have strength. You will gain strength. Can you see that now you are moving toward the stillness again? Keep feeling it. Keep knowing so of what's happening. You don't have to try to fabricate the mind. Try giving Luangpu a sweet smile. Have you brushed your teeth this morning yet? See, your mind is stuck. Your mind is tight. Keep notice on that. Your mistake is that you are still over-focusing. Number 2. Just a moment. It's not that you are doing anything bad. Over-focusing is not bad deeds. It is better than the mind is busy. Number 2. I practice before bedtime. I see that the body is sleeping, but the mind is awakened. One day, the mind cry out that the mind is not us. And in the morning, I pray Putto Sutsuto, and then I see the aching in the body, and the aching is not permanent. Sometimes it is aching a lot, sometimes it is aching less. Please tell me if I practice correctly. You practice correctly, but you still feel that your mind is you. Don't let the mind be too busy as you practice. Very good. Can you tell the mind, as you notice yourself, the mind is joyful by itself. Just keep noticing it. Just keep knowing so. When the mind, but you still feel that the mind is you. There is a you inside. You practice very well. Just keep practicing it until it is enough. Right now, it is too tight. Very good. You can see the phenomena, the states very well. Right now, the mind is lost. The mind moves away. Can you tell that the mind sometimes knows so, and sometimes the mind is blurring? This is the mind arising and falling. It is showing you that the mind arise and fall. Very good. Can you see that the mind is joyful right now? Very good. You have the mind that is annoying. The mind is joyful. Keep learning the truth of the 5 aggregates. And then one day it can let go by itself. Number 3.
เบอร์ 3 เปลี่ยนจากนั่งสมาธิมาเดินจงกรม
From sitting meditation, I change it to walking meditation. I can see that
แต่ขันธ์ยังไม่แยกคงสภาวะนี้อยู่ได้
I don't think my 5 aggregate has separated yet.
แต่ไม่ชัดเหมือนก่อนเมื่อหลงคิดจะมีกิเลสตามมา
When my mind wander off, I can see the defilement arise afterward.
ตอนนี้เลยดูแต่หลง
Right now, so I observe the mind when the mind is lost. I think I am less over focusing. Please tell me what to do next. Your aggregates have separated, but you don't see that yet. Now you can see that the mind is separated from the body. Separating 5 aggregates, it doesn't mean that your mind is outside the body, but you can see that they each function on its own. Right now you are over focusing. Keep knowing so you practice correctly. Today is the homework reviewing time is easy. Number 4. Just a moment. Number 3. Now your mind is lost. Number 4. I practice formally by moving the hands and doing the walking meditation every day, at least for half an hour every day. Please tell me what to do if I practice correctly. It is good, but let's do more than half an hour a day. If you set your mind to practice, it's not torturing yourself. Let's practice more. If you have determination and your mind is lossless in the world, then your mind will be happier. Number 4, let's show Luangpo how you move your hands. This is wrong because you are before you move the hand, your mind is tight. So use your normal mind. Use the ordinary mind to move the hand. No, so when the mind moves through the hand. So use this principle when you practice. Number 5. Number 5, you are excited. Just know so that you are excited. I practice formally every day. I sit or I walk every day about 1.5 hours to 3 hours every day. I practice using the body as the object of my meditation. When the mind have enough strength, I think I can enter jhana 4th. If you can attain jhana 4, that is good. So the mind will have a lot of strength. The mind can try going into jhana. Show Luangpo how you do that. Notice that you have a weight in your mind. Don't control it. If you try to control the mind, you cannot enter jhana. Keep practicing. Don't let the mind get busy in the Dhamma. As you exit the samadhi, keep noticing your body, that the body is nothing to be worried about, that the body is not something good. Today, everyone are very good practitioners. Number 6, I practice formally by doing walking meditation more than sitting meditation. Throughout the day, I try to observe the body moving, and whatever is more prominent, I know so of that. I am bored of the cycle of rebirth. Please tell me what to do next, and am I practicing correctly? The mind that is bored, that is the mind that is with anger, know so of that. The mind is tainted by boringness, that so the mind is not happy. If you see that feeling bored is something that is not the mind, then you can overcome that. Number 5, your mind is lost. Number 7. Number 6, you are practice well, keep practicing. Number 7, I practice by using the breathing meditation. I see the mind that arise and fall. I can see that the mind is joyful, delighted. I can see that I have a lot of defilements. I have a lot of ego. I love my body, but I also see that the body is a burden, suffering. I can see that the mind is me. I have more determination in the practice and believe in the 3 gems, the Dhamma, Sangha, and Buddha. Number 7, you practice well, keep practicing. Now, number 8. I increase my samadhi like Luangpo recommended. Sometimes the mind does not have any wanting. I see a lot of sufferings. I feel that my mind is still. Please tell me what to do next. Luangpo reply, very good. You look much better. Right now that your mind is moving away, can you tell that your mind is moving toward Luangpo? Just know so of that. Just keep knowing so when the mind moves. Number 7, you don't have to be too serious when you practice. Otherwise, you will feel tired. And now you have some delusion arising. Can you feel that? Number 7. Let's just back away from samadhi. Come out to the world. Have you noticed that you still feel drowsy as you exit samadhi? So when you sit and meditate, and you sit, and as you intentionally try to make the mind go inside, then when you exit samadhi, drowsiness will follow. It's not like you're turning on the light, that as you turn on the light is bright right away. Just like that, the mind is different from before. Now, can you see that? So, number 7, your samadhi is still with delusion, with drowsiness. You don't have enough sati when you sit and meditate. So when you practice samadhi, don't let the mind be drowsy. Otherwise, when you exit to the world, that the drowsiness follow. When you practice samadhi, the mind should be awake and delightful, happy. But when you practice samadhi, it is okay if don't aim for calmness. The mind can be calm or not calm, it's okay. Number 1, you are too serious when you practice. then you will feel tight. Number 2, be careful that you are busy thinking about Dhamma. Be careful of that. That is all the Dhamma talk for today. Luangpo is delighted that everyone is practicing well and they practice hard. We can go home now. There are some people who come to the temple that have COVID. So if you can wear mask, please wear mask. Otherwise, you may put in a post on your Facebook that I've got COVID from going to the temple. That is all the Dhamma talk for today. อนุโมทนาค่ะ